FTC Team 4345 Aragon Robotics with our Fair Play Robot explanation.
Alright, so let's start with programming first. So during Autonomous this year we used Roadrunner, and Roadrunner is a motion profiling library that essentially allows us to make complex curves or spline paths, as well as keep track of our maximum velocity and acceleration at any given point. And so to keep track of where our robot is, we have dead wheels this year. So these dead wheels basically just tell us the location of our robot based on how many rotations it's done. And we've also used TensorFlow for vision. So TensorFlow is a machine learning library, and it just tells us whether the rings are 0, 1, or 4, pretty simple. And finally, during teleop, we also have an autonomous mode. That's not really autonomous, but if you hit a button during teleop, the robot will automatically drive to a certain point on the field, and that point allows us to align ourselves to the shooting position.
Mechanical, let's start with the drive chain. For our drive chain, we just cut some plates out of aluminum 6061, and it's just double-sided. It's kind of like a box tube and chain, and we just have also cut sprockets and hubs. We have hex axles for our wheels, and then of course we have these for the orbital 20s we have. We have a lot of 3D printed parts, primarily for all the independent mechanisms. For the intake, we have the 30A durometer green wheels from Andymark, and we have them in both compliant and in the stealth wheel forms. And we just 3D printed a lot of pieces to put bearings into and allow our intake to be exactly what we want to be. For our transfer, we have a lot of polycarb as well as more 3D printed things and more servos to allow for the rings to be stored and then eventually fed over to our shooter, which is just a 1-to-1 gear reduction, which is also enclosed in a lot of polycarb. And lastly, we have our electronics in the back, which are all neatly compacted, both inside the frame as well as on top of our shooter. And for our wobble mechanism, we have a few plates as well as more sprockets and chain and a 3D printed claw, which allows us to grab the wobble from a quite sizable area. Thank you, and that's the end of our robot explanation.